Now then YouTube, I'm the Toffman and welcome back to Magicality Server Sunday. Guys, quite a bit of progression has happened since last weekend. Not from my base, of course, because I never seem to be able to play this pack. But I have done a couple of updates to the pack. I have updated a few of the mods that are already in there. Now, not only that, but I've also added a few mods in as well. Candycraft is one of them. I like that. I like it, and there's a couple of things that some people have done with it that is pretty decent, and I think that it's something that can fit into this pack quite nicely. COFH core and thermal foundation will be used a bit later on in the pack development, thanks to a brilliant idea from Killer Joke, which is Mike on the server. That is really going to flesh out and change the way that Magicality is going to work. You guys are going to love it. Anyway, Forge Multipart, I don't know if that was already on the server or not. If it's not, if it wasn't, it is now. If it already was, then I've updated it at some stage. Necromancy, Sanguimancy, I think that Sanguimancy was already on the server, but I can't be sure, so I'm just making sure that you guys know. Storage Drawers. Now, Storage Drawers is pretty good. I like this. I like this mod. Storage Drawers. We toyed with the idea of maybe getting better storage or something in there, but I don't like, I don't want better storage because there's a whole lot of other stuff that comes with it that I really didn't want. So storage drawers, these things look really nice, and definitely something that that you guys might want to use, like storage wise, because we needed a storage kind of mod. This one definitely fits the bill, I think, with that one. Tails mod, Talismans 2, and Translocators. I think Translocators was already in, but I'm just making sure that you guys know about it. Also coming up in the future is the removal of Chromaticraft and Dragon API. It's been causing a lot of problems with the server. Not only that, but Chromaticraft, nobody really knows how to use it. And because it's so early in its life, I really don't think it's at a stage where we can put it into this mod pack and be happy with the fact that it's so early in its life and nobody knows how to use it. So, guys, big changes are going to come into Magicality, and it's really going to shape the early game. It's going to shape... I'll get to you in a minute, Bengalgod, don't you worry. I'm at Bengalgod's at the moment. I want to show you his place because it's amazing. You guys will absolutely love it. But yeah, changes to Magicality like you wouldn't believe, and some ideas that are floating around that really is absolutely fantastic. Let me just bring up to you the yuzu fruit. Now, the yuzu fruit, which is this thing here from Apple Milk and Tea, this thing can be found on trees. However, the sanguine yuzu, I think the sanguine yuzu, yes, the sanguine yuzu is something that you can only get from a mana yuzu. Now, the mana yuzu, it doesn't actually have a recipe, but these three here are three different types of yuzu fruit that... basically, it's the first part of cross-mod compatibility, and this is why I love Mind Tweaker and Mod Tweaker, and this is why I love Belgabor, because he has been doing that kind of stuff, and it's been going well. It's been going well so far, and there is a map reset coming up. I don't know when it's going to come up, but it is definitely going to be happening because of the changes coming up to Magicality. Anyway, guys, I've talked to you for long enough. Let's have a look around Bengalgod's place, and I'll get him in chat with us. Welcome back, guys. We have Bengalgod on the line with us now. Welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
Now then. I'm actually at Bengalgod's place here. I've been holed up in this little hut here for ages. I've actually been out there. I've seen this place. It's amazing. So why don't we take a tour of Bengalgod's place?
All right. Well, welcome to my hovel away from hovel. We do have a bunch of fun experiments here. I can't say I've done anything particularly seriously, but I'd like to think I've done some things interestingly.
Oh, definitely.
I figure we can start over here with the passive mana generation from the hydrangeas. This was actually the first mana setup I had from Botania. Yep. Which Botania was where I started out just because I always dig into other things first, and I really wanted to give it a fair shake because it is just an absolutely amazing mod. It is so much fun. So what we have here is actually three separate tiers of hydrangeas stacked on top of one another in, I think, a relatively nice-looking pool, just so that folks have something to look at. It's only 18 of them. It doesn't produce a lot, but it does produce enough to completely power my runic altar for all of my kludging together random floating bits into the power that makes my other strange things.
Ah, that's pretty cool. I've only got 4 in my mana pool, so in my little thing that I've got on my Thorncraft and Britannia, so I might have to do something about that. It's nice to have passive mana generation.
Yeah, passive is very nice. The one thing I did find, it won't be a problem in your Thaumcraft plus Britannia, but in Magicality at least, I did find it's very important with your Hydrangea setups to keep the Watch of Flowing Time far, far away from it.
Oh yeah, I can imagine, because the water would just like disappear.
Basically, I've had to refill this thing so many times just because I let some other folks come and use my Mana Bean farm.
Oh, that's mad.
Just because it's it's easier than them having to make their own entire separate setup.
That is true.
I actually Belgabor was kind enough to lend me a pair of teleposers linked to his network, so that I can have the utility without having to dig into icky hemoglobin-based magic.
Hemoglobin-based magic, I like that. That's good. So this mana bean setup then, just explain to us how you've actually done it, because this is pretty good. I like it.
All right, so the first thing I actually did was I went out into the world, because there are plenty of magical biomes out there. I went out into the world and I found some naturally spawned silverwood trees that had nodes in them, pure nodes.
Yep.
The nice thing about the pure node is it actually creates in a square area around it a magical forest biome.
Yep.
So I used the teleposers to go ahead and teleport in a couple of pure nodes, and I buried them underground just so that you can't really tell they're there unless you have your goggles of revealing on.
I do.
Which you do, so you
Yep.
can see them. If you take them off, it looks like they're not even there.
It does indeed.
So that means that I can change this into an area that will allow me to farm mana beans without really changing the look of things too much. I mean, the grass is a lot of your color, but these things we have to just take into account.
Yeah.
Now, the checkerboard pattern here actually does serve a purpose. It's not just pretty because I like to wear loud colors. It's actually, when you're breeding mana beans, they breed if they're orthogonally adjacent, if they're right next to each other, like this pair of Modus are here.
Yep.
And if they're diagonal, they don't interact. So you can actually multiply your supply as much as you want by placing on the diagonals, which is really easy to tell with the checkerboard pattern.
Yep.
And it's very obvious when you're placing orthogonally to purposefully breed them.
Yeah.
And I've got some Precontatio here, some life, and a few other things kicking around. In the chest down here, I do still have a couple of slightly more complex things. It looks like I lost most of my Aurum beans in the great alchemy bag reset of 2014.
Yeah, don't use them. They're broken at the moment. Just a bit of an advance warning. Oh, sorry, you needed that a bit further behind.
No, I'm actually told that the latest version of Project E does fix that problem.
Yeah, that's good. I have heard that as well.
But yeah, so since it happens to be sitting here next to the teleposer I was pointing at, I will go ahead and point out the love of my Minecraft life, Big Bertha here.
Big Bertha, and she is big. I've got to say
yes,
so.
She does like to eat. I actually, if you do have your thermometer on you, definitely take a moment to discover Bertha.
Oh yeah.
And
have I got it on me actually? I don't think I have.
Here, you can borrow mine. I certainly don't mind.
Oh, you've got it in an alchemy bag. Are you sure you're willing to do that?
Oh, I'm willing to do all sorts of things. I'm just crazy like that.
Oh, I need to study Beast. There's a whole load of stuff in there that I haven't actually found yet, so I'll pop that back to you. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at Motus and I'm looking at Victus and stuff like all these mana beans, but they've just got a question mark on them because I haven't done anything with Thorncraft yet, believe it or not.
Apologies. Well, the one thing I will say, the main reason I wanted you to take the time to discover Bertha was actually because Bertha is a bright node.
Oh.
And that's very important because that makes a significant percentage difference in the amount of centivis she will actually produce per tick when I do go ahead and energize this node.
Yeah.
The bright nodes, normally they just have a doubled regeneration when you're pulling from them with your wand, but in addition there's still a significant increase when you do energize the node. The other nice thing about energized nodes is they do down convert all of the lovely complex aspects into the individual components.
They do.
So the more complex aspects here, I actually went out of my way to get. Like you'll notice the tier 7 aspects like Tellum and such. I made sure were there just because they'll break down into so very many things.
Yeah.
And just jack those numbers up to try and make things a little bit more efficient, because I am planning to use this to power all of my experiments, because most of my experiments in Thaumcraft will be moving over to Dragoneer's base, assuming we don't reset the server before then.
Yeah, the reset will be coming, I would say soon, but I really don't know how long it's going to take to plan the progression line of what we want to actually do, so I don't know when that reset's going to come. It's probably going to be a little bit of time, but still plenty of time to put all the stuff over there. I've seen Dragoneer's base since just last week, and that is it's pretty mad what he's done in just the space of a week to the space of what I've done in a week, which is nothing.
Well, you've done a lot, but not in Minecraft.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, all you've really missed over there that I've noticed is he was kind enough to tack a bed chamber down for me there in the lower levels. I am now officially a subcontractor to Blood Drake Company.
Yes.
I guess is how that's supposed to work. So this is actually the second place I expanded my base into when I was actually getting on my feet on the server.
Yep.
Which is why things are a little bit haphazard. You see, I've got the flowers here just up against the water because I didn't have buckets yet when I made this farm.
Yep.
And just the reeds and such that I needed so that I could have the seeds and the other materials to get off the ground with Botania. And the first thing I made from Botania, you'll see right here, is my jaded amaranthus.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Which is why this area is absolutely littered with flowers.
It's a very useful flower to have. Very, very useful.
It is my absolute favorite. Now that the spawn rate on the Botania flowers has actually been fixed from the typo that happened back in version 9, I think it was.
Yeah.
It should actually, the flowers should show up less often, and broken up into the clusters like they are, you'll definitely be able to find what you're looking for more easily, but you will have to hunt farther with the lower spawn rate. So this, when you're talking about long-term Botania and getting into the bigger builds, the Jaded Amaranthus is absolutely a must-have.
Yeah, it's definitely your friend. It is definitely. I've seen the new spawn rates, and it's actually on... Well, this episode hasn't gone out yet, but the Thaumcraft and Botania Unite, the next episode, which goes out tomorrow for you, that one, I literally see the new spawn, because you've got all the little colours that are like clustered together, like all the reds are together and then the blues are together, and there's a few bits and bobs like that. So, yeah, people would have seen that yesterday. This goes out on Sunday, so this would technically be yesterday.
Gotcha.
That episode, so, yeah, people would have already seen that, so that's good.
Yeah, so from here, I actually expanded over in this direction because, once again, I wanted to focus on renewable resources. I really like to make sure I don't run out of things.
Yep.
And so that's where this giant chunk of ore just happened to magically appear for no reason that anyone can see.
Where on earth did that come from?
Well, if we dig into it, here, I'll just toss you a pick if you want to go ahead and dig into it. But if you dig into it, somewhere towards the center, you'll actually find one of my favorite plants, the orchid.
Ah, there it is. I see.
And it is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, I fell. I fell down the big hole that was right there. There we go.
Oh, watch out for that hole, by the way. You might fall down.
I did. But I didn't give away what was down there. That's the best thing.
Ah,
'Cause
good.
I was
We'll
facing
get
the
to
other way.
that soon.
Yep. Oh, I'll give you this
So-
back. Hang on a sec. Make sure I don't press
yes,
the wrong button and delete it. Where have you gone?
I'm
Oh, yeah.
behind you. But yes, that was actually enchanted on this very infusion altar over here. Rather than putzing about with vanilla enchants, we went
Yeah.
ahead and went straight for the infusion enchanting, which is just lovely, just to get exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Which you might have seen. This is a fantastic pick with the Efficiency 5, Fortune 3.
Oh, is that what they add on it? I didn't actually see that, but I've got plenty of entropy shards now from one
Yes.
piece of from one piece of art, so that's good.
Yeah, so you might notice the Fortune 3. But yes, in this case, I love the mana tool just because I hate to waste things, and just having a passively generated supply of mana and having mana on me means that I can keep using the same pick, I can keep using the same armor until I upgrade to other things that are indestructible, like the gem armor here.
Oh, the gem armor's very, very expensive.
It's a little expensive. It's a little expensive. There are ways that you can get it a little bit cheaper if you're blessed by the cube like I am.
Oops.
But
Let me
the blessings of the cube we'll
banish Ray.
talk about a little bit
Oh
later.
yeah, the cube, not the film, the cube. That's disturbing. But the cube down there, it's great. It's great.
Although Jim Henson's movie The Cube was actually nice. I liked that. It was a little strange, I won't lie. It was an experimental film, but it was actually enjoyable, where I just can't watch thrillers and things. I am a big pansy. And speaking of big pansies, here are my endoflames.
Yep. There's a few of these.
Yeah, these were actually, thinking back, I think these were actually the third flower I got into. Or no, technically these are actually the fourth flower I got into from Mana Generation. I don't have day blooms and night blooms anymore, but for a while I actually had a checkerboard of day blooms and night blooms on top of my hydrangea setup.
Yep.
So they all of my hydrangeas were actually completely underground with as very little wasted space as possible, and then I just papered over the top with a nice little grassy area covered with the day blooms and the night blooms.
Oh yeah.
It was it was all right to look at, but it wasn't anything special. I think that's got much more feng shui something.
Yep.
So anyway, this is a really simple setup here just to feed the endoflames. I've got an energy collector going into an energy condenser, which if you open up, you'll just see it's producing, plenty of fuel.
Yep.
In the form of Eternalist fuel, because why do something when you can overdo it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, look, this little pile of Eternalist fuel has just been here since like the dawn of time. I swear, it never disappears. It always just gets replenished.
Gradually, the little staircase here is not actually just for my convenience to get up top. It's mostly because I wanted there to be grass on the dirt with the end of flames, and then I never bothered to take it down because, in addition to being incredibly conservative, I'm also very, very lazy. The two go hand in hand fantastically.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This is actually a good example of laziness here. This is a build that no longer exists. I tore this apart to make something more fun that we'll get to later. But it was a little complicated. I can actually thank, believe it was actually, yes, it was. It was Dragon who reminded me of this, which was the some vanilla Minecraft mechanics I'd forgotten, which are vital and very useful. Still, moving right along, if we hop on over here, this is one of my fun experiments. This was the fifth thing that I tried for mana.
Yep.
And this particular piece of real estate, if I can just get it going again, which will take me one moment, as I have to grab a resource from a tree.
A pet came by and started stealing all the leaves. Really?
Oh yes, yes. I was at work and Dragonair was visiting my base. I think he was working with the Mana Bean farm at the time, and he saw that there was a peck sitting there stealing all of the leaves, and so he put this fence up for me helpfully.
Oh.
But yes,
I
I've
thought
got this.
I thought it was just there for like decoration or something, but no, there is actually a purpose behind it then.
Yes, there is a purpose behind that. And here we see just this nice little carpet of leaves with logs underneath it.
Yep.
Now, the logs are surprisingly actually important. Even though when you normally in vanilla you place a block of leaves, it doesn't deteriorate.
Yep.
When a Renin Carpus places a block of leaves, it does.
Ooh. So you
So-
needed the wood underneath it.
Exactly, exactly. So in this case, this condenser, oak leaves, by the way, have an EMC of 1.
Yep.
So you do have to kind of stand back when you feed this thing because it will spit out oak leaves forever.
Whoa. That is just like pooing leaves right there.
Yes, if you've got your sound on, you'll probably hear why I call this the popcorn machine.
Yeah. Just like popping away and replacing itself.
But yeah, I thought about the because I never knew about the Munchdew before I saw you talk about it in your Thaumcraft Meets Britannia.
Yeah.
But I saw it and I thought, that's really nice, but it seems like it may not be the fastest way to put leaves out there. And eventually I came up with this design, which gets leaves out a little bit faster. Now, Belgabor saw this and he made a much more efficient version,
Yeah.
which I think he might still be using. But, cheers to my original inefficient version, which looks really fun, even if it didn't produce all that much mana.
The Munchdews, they do a pretty good job as for mana production. For what
Right.
if you've got like a huge tree farm, they do a really good job of like producing a bit of mana.
That they certainly do. In this case, they're not eating anything because they're full, because the mana spreader they're attached to is no longer pointing at anything like it used to be.
Ah.
Because this is a setup that I no longer use.
Yeah.
But I had to turn it back on and show you just because it is so much fun. It is one of my sillier and more entertaining creations. And if this will actually let me drop down, I'll turn it back off.
Get stuck. There
It's
you go.
completely full. It's going to take forever to finish spitting out those leaves.
My God.
But at least that's dealt with. So that was, as far as progression goes, that's what happened next.
Yeah.
And then after that, things actually got interesting because after the Endo Flames, I was able to get into the Elven Portal.
Yep.
Because that was right around the time that everybody on the server got together and cracked open the Wither,
Ah, yep.
and we started sharing around the Nether Stars, which they're absolutely incredibly useful for making beacons, and you have to have a beacon if you want to advance in Britannia.
Exactly. Yep.
Apparently, you have to have 4 beacons if you want to advance in Blood Magic,
Oof. No, you're all
which
right.
is kind of intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so originally I just had a little bit of Terrasteel so that I could fire up that gate right there and learn Elven knowledge and learn all of the wonders of Britannia I'd never seen before.
And you never got into Britannia that far yet? Until this server?
This is the first time.
Ooh.
This is the first time I'd ever had a chance to explore Britannia. I've been loving it. It's been fantastic. Also fantastic is this machine, which I might as well talk about.
This machine is amazing. Vasky, if you are watching this, this is amazing. You'll love it. Anyway, carry on.
This is my baby, and I do love this thing. This is my Terrasteel generator.
Yeah.
And it's fed by my mana beanstalk, which doesn't produce mana beans, surprisingly. But my mana beanstalk up to my orbital mana array, we can take a look at a little bit later.
Yeah.
The way this little thing works here is we drop on a timer the various bits. The first step to automating this was actually I had to use a comparator so that I could tell how much mana was in the pool that I was targeting.
Yeah.
Because it pulls half a pool of mana when it makes a Terrasteel. So Comparator was good. I had like a regular redstone setup for a while, but Thaumcraft and some of the other additions to Thaumcraft, like Automagi,
Yep.
have absolutely wonderful solutions. This right here is the remote comparator.
Yep.
And it's a lovely device. The way this works is you actually key it to something using the little floating bit you see above there. That's actually a crystallized spider eye.
Yep.
And you make that using basically the same recipe that you use to make the redstone crystals,
Yep.
except you throw in a spider eye instead.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. Basically, you just take the crystal spider eye, right-click on it, whatever you want to monitor, and then you right-click to drop it into the comparator there. And as long as it's within about, I want to say about 20 blocks, give or take, it'll be able to detect it.
Nice.
So whenever the pool it's keyed to gets full, it emits a signal that gradually gets stronger. Now, I tuned these dense red crystals here to a resistance of 8.
Yeah.
And the reason they're at a resistance of 8 is because the signal that the comparator puts out when it gets full will push a signal of 8 out all the way to this top block here.
Yeah.
And this top block here is the important bit, because that's where, in addition to lighting up and looking kind of pretty and glowing next to my silly little signs here, also sets off this note block. Now, anyone familiar with basic Thaumcraft can probably guess why I have a note block here, and it's because up here and a little over, I've got the arcane ear, which is completely useless if you're just exploring things. But if you want to automate some things and you want to do some timing, it is lovely. It's just a wireless way to get a redstone signal from point A to point B as long as you're within whatever hearing distance is. And I don't even remember what that is at this point. But from the arcane ear, it just goes along here to some dispensers.
Yep.
These dispensers are actually just hooked up to one condenser each. Each condenser is actually working on one of the 3 items I need. So I've got iron blocks, and I've got, or not iron blocks, iron bars. And then I've got mana pearls, and I've got mana diamonds that are produced when it drops these regular diamonds and these regular pearls down this glass chute onto this particular pool. And you might notice it's just made of Terrasteel while I was talking about it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it just, I just barely caught it. You can
I heard the
hear,
ding. Yeah.
Yeah, the ding was it going off. You'll notice that it's back down now, the light.
Yep. I see
it'll
it.
gradually fill up again. It's nice that it's actually working on camera. It's been giving me no end of headache for days. But basically, once it falls down, it lands on the pool. It gets converted into mana diamonds, mana steel, mana pearls.
Yeah,
And
I did catch that bit.
And then the absolutely fantastic part to my mind, just because I'm really fond of all the lovely tools that Vasky put together, is I have here, and it just sounds so awesome, but on my redstone spreader, I have a lens of phantom influence. And phantom influence just sounds like it's something special. And it is special because it fires through blocks. That's the phantom part, and the influence part is it pushes items that are floating around loose.
Yep.
So it'll push through these blocks. It'll actually push the various mana infused items off of the top of the pool here, and down into the chamber that's on top of the beacon. Now, the reason that you'll see this piston here in the midst of this otherwise entirely pretty glass is I was having a problem with the items just jumping out and falling down before they got converted into mana-infused items.
Yeah.
And so I fixed that. I fixed that, first of all, with a timer. Basically, I just split the signal from the timer off, and I threw a repeater on here to slow the redstone pulse to the spreader here down just a half a hair, so that what we get is, and this is the magic hourglass, which I believe is also from Automagi, and I've got it set right now to I think about 10 seconds and an alternating signal, so it'll turn on for 10 seconds and it'll turn off for 10 seconds. So while it's on, the piston is in the closed position, actually, because I have to invert the signal using this torch here.
Yeah.
While it's off, the piston is in the open position and shuts that off so that the items can't accidentally fall down the chute before they get transformed.
Yeah.
And then it's keyed so that the chute opens up right before the pulse fires out. Because what I did see was if the chute opened up before the pulse fired out, they'd blow all over the tunnel and they wouldn't necessarily fall down and all sorts of havoc. Now, you might notice that I don't have a big chain of redstone or red crystal going from over there to over here where the piston is. And that's one of the lovely tools, the resonating red crystal, which all it has to do is it has to point at another red crystal exactly opposite it within, I don't know, I think it's something like 12 or 16 blocks, somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
And it'll just transmit directly across through blocks, doesn't even care. Nice. Absolutely lovely. It is the bee's knees, it is the wasp's elbows, it is the erogenous zones of all sorts of arthropods.
That is insane, man. The thought that's gone into it. It's like from the original little seed of thought. Oh, how can I do Terrasteel automatically? To this, I mean, it's something special. It takes a brain that I haven't certainly got. That's for sure. This is madness.
I do like to say I'm just lazy enough to be smart. Over here, this is where everything comes out. I've got a hopper hawk that's in range to pick the Terrasteel up off the beacon and just shove it in this chest. It only picks up Terrasteel because I've got the item frame on there.
Yeah, with the Terrasteel in it. Yeah.
Right, and you'll notice behind you my relatively eye-searing decoration, the blocks of solid Terrasteel. Actually, if you tear up just these blocks here, you'll see other blocks underneath them.
Oh, jeez.
It's, if I hadn't broken this machine for over a week, my entire house would have been these instead of the temple blocks.
Instead of the wiggly blocks.
I do like the wiggly blocks. Those were.
I do. They're nice.
They looked like the most fun when I was going through the chisel mod, which the chisel mod is fun.
Yeah, it is.
Really, really fun.
It's good.
So anyway, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of mana to actually feed this setup with any kind of speed, which you'll notice it's kicked off at least twice since we started talking.
It has.
And so, how you ask, Toffman? How do you get that much mana?
How do you get that much mana, Bengalgod?
Well, believe it or not, I have produced this mana beanstalk over here to produce mana from what I like to call my orbital mana array.
That's a very good name.
The orbital mana array, if you want to just follow me up here, you'll see it's composed of a chain of pools that are fed by a combination of mana spreaders, and these are all Gaia spreaders, so every time you see 8 of these, know that that's one time the dark version of me in a suit had to die.
Yep.
But a combination of the Gaia spreaders, which have the velocity potency lenses on them because they're just not fast enough.
Yeah.
A combination of those and the sparks. The sparks with the augments that you get in the Elven Knowledge section are just the fastest way to move mana. They just are. Somebody once told me never underestimate the bandwidth of a 747 full of floppy disks. But these things really do move, and the only thing I could imagine moving mana faster than this would be a Thaumium Golem carrying a bunch of full mana tablets around, which, now that I've said that, I want to do that.
Of course, naturally.
But if you follow me up here, you should start to hear a lot of noise.
Oh, I can.
Because the purpose of the orbital mana array is just so I don't have to listen to this nonsense. This is actually why my favorite way to produce mana at this point in Botania is the Entroponium here.
Yeah.
Which the Entroponium is lovely. It's just lovely. It's a boom eater. It makes explosions go om nom nom into its belly, into a ton of mana. and it then goes right into this array. And you'll notice now that I've got everything hooked up, these top 4 pulls here can't even stay full
Nope.
because the Terrasteel generator goes through them that fast.
Wow.
Oh, it's just I'm so fond of it. But up here, what we've got going on, this setup is I've got the standard energy collector egg that everyone and their mother's brother have seen by now.
Yep.
Hooked up to a collector producing TNT, which goes into a dispenser. Now, when a dispenser places TNT on a redstone signal like this, it's already lit when it comes out.
Yep.
Which means I don't have to mess around lighting the TNT. It just, when it's dispensed, it's already lit. Now, the problem, even with 2 entropiniums, a Gaia spreader won't pull mana out fast enough out of them to guarantee that they'll always eat the explosion and there will be no environmental damage.
Yeah.
Unless you time it much slower than I'm willing to go. Because lazy, like I said. So to combat that, if you hop down here, you might notice the water dripping out of the blocks underneath. That's actually how I managed to avoid destroying all of the blocks I built this with, while still using just a 1-second timer on my pulse up here, is when, and this is a vanilla mechanic that Dragon had to remind me of because I forgot, when TNT falls into the water, it doesn't blow up the terrain, it
Nope.
just deals its damage.
Yep.
Which
It does.
is really useful for this setup. You'll notice if you stand close enough to it that every now and then an explosion will still get through, and you'll still feel the sting of.
Yeah. A couple of times that's happened.
So anyway,
we can around.
we can probably drop back down now. That's everything interesting I've got up here. Wee splat.
Ooh, I best not do that.
The gem
will
boots
die.
mean I can get away with all kinds of things. It's lovely.
Oh, I've got gem boots as well. Dragoneer gave me a pair.
Yeah, the gem boots should do you fine then. Although my absolute favorite way to fall is actually with the tiara, which the Flugel tiara is once again from Britannia.
Yeah.
There was a while here where I was flying around in Elementium armor as a lovely ice fairy princess, and the only reason I stopped is because I needed to do a lot more fighting, and I needed to get a little bit more into warp research, and nothing dissipates warp research in my experience quite like the gem armor does.
Yeah.
But of course, as you mentioned, gem armor is expensive.
Very
Also
expensive. Just the boots here are 28.7 million EMC.
Where in the
That
world
is
would I get
madness.
28.7 million EMC? I mean,
I have no idea.
I only have 250 million EMC in this transmutation table right now. That I'm bound to have gotten somewhere.
Oh, only 250 million. That's fine.
Yes. You might want to wipe your feet before you step into the shrine to the cube.
Oh yeah.
Here in the world of Minecraft, all is the cube. Everything comes from the cube. Everything eventually goes to the cube. And right now, what comes from my cube is red matter.
Yes.
You
I
might
see
see
a piece.
a drop there. The cube in this case is a place to come and revere the cube, because all is the cube. It's where our light comes from. It's where all of our sadness goes when we pass. But in addition, it's where I hid my first EMC array made out of energy condensers and antimatter conduits and energy collectors. And there's no, you might notice there's no chute coming out of there.
There
And-
isn't?
No, there's no chute coming out of here down in the bottom because I managed to use another piece of, now I could be wrong. This might be Automagi and this might be the other one, the name of which escapes me because I
Atomic
lost.
Tinkerer.
It might be Thaumic Tinker, it might be Automagi. I don't know because I had my Thaumonomicon in an alchemy bag. And so right now I don't have a Thaumonomicon.
Oh.
But yeah, so I can't look that up and see what it was from.
Can you not see it on Wheeler? It says there, look. Atomic Tinkerer.
Thaumic Tinkerer, herp.
There you are.
Yes, I can herp and derp with the best of them. I forget what tools are right in front of my face.
Oh, it can't be as bad as me. You're all right.
But the transvector interface is a lovely, lovely device. It's actually keyed to the condenser inside, so
Yep.
that I can put items into the condenser and take items out of the condenser, and still use all 6 sides of the condenser to accept energy,
Wow.
which actually allows me to get about another bonus 5% EMC from one of the antimatter collectors. Or
Yeah.
conduits rather, and one more energy collector than
Yeah.
normal would fit in there. So that's my shrine to the cube. It's I had to decorate it because it is very important to me. It's important to us
It's
all.
a very good idea, that. Do you know who actually came up originally with the transvector interface?
The transvector interface, I do not know. Who did?
Vasky.
Really?
Yeah, he was the original person who made Thormic Tinkerer.
That is something I did not know.
There you go.
Basky continues to be one of my favorite modders for a very good reason.
Oh, yeah. Same.
Yes, I think that's most of the interesting things I've done up here. If we look at that, I mean, most of my adventures have involved failing a lot, and I don't think anybody wants to see the giant hole I dug downstairs with my Terra Shatterer.
Which is S rank as well. That's mad.
Well, it
just to
was
get to that
S
spot.
rank. Just to be fair, it was S rank. It's no longer. It's no longer something that exists, actually.
Oh, was it in the alchemy bag?
It was in the alchemy bag.
Oh, the Great Purge.
The Great Purge of 2014. It was. It will be remembered by all of us.
Oh my god.
I still remember when I came to after the disaster.
No! Left your lips.
Huddled in that stadium, soaking wet.
Oh man. Well, yeah, I never expected that to actually happen, which keeps happening as well, by the way. So don't put anything in there anymore, because if the server crashes and it restarts, that's it. You've lost all your stuff again.
Well, I'm probably going to lose all of my stuff again because I don't have enough inventory space. I just don't. There's never enough inventory space.
Oh, there isn't. Which is why when the next update to Project E comes along, it's going to be so good because you can actually have your bags back.
That'll be nice. Oh wow, here's something completely strange and interesting. Apparently, underneath this pool that has been sitting here all nondescript next to my base for who knows how long, with me never looking. There's one of those bizarre broken fluid ender pools, so you can bounce around in weird directions as you drown.
You can. What better way to go, really? What better way to go than that?
I was always hoping that death by centrifuge would be mine.
Death by centrifuge. It's quite specific.
Well, I figured either that or if we could manage by catapult. George Carlin might be proud of that.
Yeah. I would not know who that is, to be honest. And even if I did know who it is, I'd have probably forgot by now.
Well, he was a comedian back when we had comedians.
Ah.
Way back when.
I don't even know where you've gone now. You're there. Admiring your beautiful work. So what are all these things that are like floating around, all these mana spreaders? What are they doing? Just spreading mana?
Well, these here on the side, I actually had to put in specifically to fill up the mana pool you see in the center of this glass array here.
Oh, yeah.
And basically, it just goes into this pool and then goes into the pool next to it, and then gets sucked into that pool there. Just because I'm much too lazy to figure out a way to point a mana spreader at it directly, and I have all these lovely sparks.
Oh, yeah, you might as well use them.
And if you watch right now, you'll get to see my favorite part.
Ding!
Oh, I'm so fond of that. That is my favorite part.
That is just madness. That is just madness. It's great. Honestly, and the changes, nobody knows because I haven't said it yet, so don't say out. But the changes that are going to come to Magicality are, well, it's going to be great. It honestly is going to be great. I'm sure that people are going to love it. Now, what originally the idea with this pack was going to be that that Project E was going to be like late game stuff. Whatever it, all of the different the mods like Britannia and Thorncraft and Witchery and stuff like that they were all going to converge eventually, so that you were able to then get into Project E. But Killer Joke, which is Mike, who's also on the server, came up with a brilliant idea. Which I'm not going to say out yet.
Amazing idea.
Oh,
it was
man,
an absolute brain drizzle.
It is. And that is going to be implemented hopefully soon, but we need to get the progression line resorted out to how to what it was before. It's totally different to what it was before. And the days of old when people used to play around with Equivalent Exchange 2, and the days of old when people used to play around with the with Feed the Beast, the original map, like the original map, which people can when they come out with all these different EMC farms and stuff like that, those days will be returning to Magicality, and I like that. I like that a lot. And people will find out what's going to happen with that once the world gets reset and we go back into the world, and then, yeah, it's going to be great. It is going to be fantastic stuff.
Absolutely. Here, do you want a Terrablade?
Terrablade? Yeah, sure.
Here, have one.
Oh, God, where's it gone?
I think it fell in the hydrangeas. It might have fallen in the
it's there. It's there. I've got it. There we go. Terrablade. Good stuff. Well, I didn't even need to do anything on the server. I just, go visit everybody every week, and they always give me stuff. So, Dragoneer gave me loads of stuff last week, which is still in my inventory in the exact places of what he gave me last week, because I just haven't had the time to get on. And then, of course, you've given me the Terrorblade now, so that's great. And I've got some entropy shards that I nicked out of the little place down there. So, yeah. Well, this has been a special bumper episode, I would say, going through all of these mad scientists' place. I swear to God, that's what it is. That's what it is around here. It's just like a big place of research.
Look, we're not mad scientists. We're slightly miffed and a little bit off, but definitely.
But yeah, I mean, this is just, I love this. And I'm sure that Vazki would appreciate the effort and the work that's gone into this. And oh yeah, it's brilliant. I love it.
Well, I certainly hope so, because I really appreciate the effort and the work that has gone into Britannia. Also, if you don't run away, I'm going to pelt you with Terrasteel until your inventory is full.
Oh, I don't mind, I'll stay. And soak it all in, raining Terrasteel. / toggle downfall.
What's a full suit of armor cost again these days?
I have no idea.
Something
off the top of my head.
27 bars. I don't remember. You should
I'm
have
still making it in my. I've literally in today's episode of the Thorncraft and Britannia Unite, I've done. I made myself some boots of the Traveller, and I actually made myself the pants, the Man of Steel pants eventually. So I'm slowly getting to the stage where I'm like, yes, I'll go and fight the Wither, and then I can finally get some Terrasteel and get that the pickaxe that I want for that series, because I really need that pickaxe.
Here, have that. You'll need that for your Terrasteel armor.
Okay. Oh yeah, of course I will. Oh man. Anyway, thank you very much for showing us around, because this is a fantastic base, and I like everything that you've done. It's it's brilliant. It's brilliant to have these people on the server that can do stuff a lot better than what I can. Is surely a good thing for Magicality. So that's great.
Well, I always like to have company.
And well, it's honestly, when these changes come around, everyone is going to love these, and then you're never going to get rid of people. So. So I'm going to go through this door, and I will see you another time if you manage to do something like equally as crazy as that.
Well,
then,
I'll see what I can do.
Give me a shout.
And thanks for stopping by.
Thank you very much. Start recording in 3, 2, 1. So guys, I am back at my base. That was a brilliant look into what is possible with the mods that are in Magicality. And guys, it's only going to get better. I can promise you this. It's only going to get better. Now, you're not seeing much from me, but when you get people like this on this server who can do stuff like that, you don't need to see anything from me. Seriously, I could not do half of the stuff of what these guys are doing. And it's really, really good to see a pack that's been put together with all of these magic mods and no tech involved whatsoever, and what is possible with these mods. I absolutely love it. The changes that are going to come to Magicality won't be done within the next week, but by Jove, you will love the changes that are going to come up. And guys, go ahead, leave a like, leave a comment, all that good stuff. As always, this has been an insanely long episode, but the content, that it more than pays for itself. So if you have stuck around for it all, I thank you very much. I may even do this as a double part. I may even put one part out on the Saturday and one part out on the Sunday just for you guys. Because, this week just shows you what is possible with Magicality, and I cannot wait for this to get finished so that you guys can get your hands on it as well and start playing with it. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching, and as always,